I'm Gina Gerba. I'm a knitter in Denver, Colorado. Welcome to my podcast, I Knit and I Know Things. So, this is my second episode, and the reason that I decided to do this podcast at all is because I took a trip to the UK earlier this month, and I really wanted to kind of document and share the yarns that I bought. So, this is this is going to be not it's not going to follow the typical podcast format, and it's not going to follow my typical format, but it is kind of a just some special information that I wanted to share from the trip. A few photos and stills and stuff like that too. But yeah, anyway, I am going to do the one the one traditional podcast move, which is to talk about what I'm wearing today. This is my Lacey loop tee, and I'll show a B-roll, but it is a pattern by Other Loops. It's the second pattern I've made from Other Loops. The first one I made was the Brady Loop sweater pullover, and I really have enjoyed both of these patterns. It is super oversized. My modification is that I only did 2 pattern repeats on the sleeve. It's already so long on me. It already comes all the way to my elbow. It would have been a 3/4 length sleeve if it had gone one more pattern repeat. And then one thing that I learned in this process of doing this sweater was the Icelandic bind off. And the sleeves and the hem both have a garter stitch edge, and the neck is ribbing, but in all 3 cases I did the Icelandic bind off. It looks so good on a garter stitch hem or edge. It still looks really good on the ribbing though. So this might be a new favorite bind off. It's very square. It gives you a nice square finish, which I really like. I am a Italian or tubular bind off person usually, but it didn't seem worthwhile or worth it for this particular pattern because of the garter stitch edge is already so chunky looking. It didn't seem like a really refined bind off was necessary. Icelandic bind off, 10 out of 10. This is knit, I talked about on my last podcast. This is knit in Venezia worsted, some of the Facebook Marketplace yarn that I got. So this one's the sport weight. Every other Venezia that I picked up was worsted. Did I say worsted? It's sport weight. The other Venezia Venezians are worsted. Okay, so let's move on to the reason for this podcast, which is what I purchased in the UK. So I'm going to take you on a little journey of the way that the kind of the direction of the stores that I went. So my son graduated college on May 2nd. My husband's birthday is May 2nd. So we all went for a trip, and that's where they wanted to go, especially Reese, my son. I had been to both London and Edinburgh before, so I really kind of wanted to do Amsterdam, but it wasn't my trip. So it was great. It was obviously I couldn't see everything there was to see on my first trip there, so it was wonderful. It was much cooler. My friend and I had gone in August, which in Edinburgh is still pretty cool, but in London was hot. This time, both in early May, was cool in both London and Edinburgh. You'll notice in the pictures that I post that I'm almost always wearing my Patagonia Nano Puff, which is I say is in the contention for the best travel jacket ever. It's so small. I learned from a client that it folds up on itself, so it makes its own little pouch. There's an inside pocket that you can fold it up into, and so it's super, super compact. I also had that jacket for my trip to the Inca Trail a couple of years ago, but this is a new one because I've lost weight. So this was, I don't know, best jacket ever. Maybe Patagonia will sponsor me someday. Probably not. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Moving on. So we started in London, and the first day that we were there, actually we arrived kind of like noonish. We had taken a red eye over from Denver. My husband works for American Airlines, but we were able to book a flight with British Airways direct from Denver to London Heathrow, which was amazing. And even better, we somehow managed to get upgraded to business class, which was so nice to be flat. We had such a whirlwind weekend. Reese's graduation was a 3-day event. There was a lot of driving back and forth to school, it's 45 minutes away, but it's a busy college town, and it was parking and logistics and dinners out and it was just, and I'm sure he did a decent amount of drinking that weekend. So we were tired. And so having that overnight flight and being able to lay down flat was like chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. Oh, I think that's the second time I've said 10 out of 10. Anyway, so we arrived around noon. Reese wanted to go to the gym. And so Jason and I decided to go to McCulloch and Wallace, which is supposedly the oldest haberdashery in London. They do have a good number of yarns, but it's not primarily a yarn store. It's fabric, yarn, notions. But I still wanted to visit it just because, I don't know, it sounds really cute and nostalgic. But unfortunately, when we arrived on a Monday, it was a bank holiday and it was closed. So we didn't get to a yarn store that day. And then the next day, my husband and son went to see the Churchill War Rooms, which I had already seen on my previous trip, so I didn't feel like I needed to do it again. So I went to Beautiful Knitters, and that's the first yarn store that I ended up visiting in London. And I had an intention to only buy British wool, or as much as possible to buy British wool on this trip. But you'll see that that didn't fully realize. But at Beautiful Knitters, which is super cute, very aesthetic. It was a pleasant walk. I took a tube line. I can't remember a few stops, and then I walked the rest of the way. It was really nice. But what I ended up deciding to get there is called Sheepsoft 4-ply by Laxton's. The brand is called by Laxton's Yorkshire. So it's a 4-ply. It's kind of a sagey green. Actually, the colorway I think is called Grassington, which is not why I picked it, but I mean, is that what it was called? Yeah, Grassington. How cute is that? Oh, and the other thing I'm going to do in this podcast is link all of the patterns that I'm planning, or at least tentatively planning to make with each of the yarns. And so I think that, and I kind of went into the purchase of this yarn with the idea that I would make the Mabel sweater by Joji Locatelli. I've never knit anything by Joji Locatelli, and the Mabel sweater is inspired by Only Murders in the Building by Mabel, which I think is so cute. I love that show. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought that it would be, this would be a nice yarn for a textured. I can't remember what it is, broken rib or something, kind of a subtle, consistent texture throughout the sweater. It's really cute. Sorry, I have not yet had my coffee for the day. So this is intended for the Mabel sweater by Joji Locatelli. Then let's see, we went to 2 shops in London and 3 in Edinburgh. So then the next day, or maybe even 2 days later, we made it to McCulloch and Wallace, which was super, super cute. And really easy to get to, pretty central. It happened to be close to what we were going to do that day. I can't remember what we were going to do that day. Reese ended up sleeping in a little bit, so Jason and I did that store on our own. So the first thing I bought at that store was Skipper, which is a 5-ply by Baa Ram Ewe. Sorry, I can see my camera on my watch, and sometimes you'll see me looking just to make sure it's kept in the right frame. It is a 100% British wool, and it doesn't say what the breeds are. Oh, I meant to mention with the Sheepsoft, it is Blueface, Leicester, and Masham. It's a blend of Blueface, Leicester, and Masham. I really like to say BFL. But this one doesn't say, it just says 100% British wool. And I have already cast on, so I bought 4 balls of this. It's 100 grams and they're really dense. It's 100 grams and 240 yards. So it's not, I don't know why I didn't buy 5. I should have just bought 5. I was just trying to be, I was trying really hard not to overbuy. And because I knew that I was going to want to make garments from my wool purchases in the UK, I wanted to be thoughtful about what I was purchasing. And so I guess I was thinking that this might be a like more of a short sleeve sweater. I don't really know why, because it's a woolly wool. She is thick and dense, and the gauge that they give, it's a 5-ply, so it's a little heavier than a fingering. It's more like a sport. The gauge they give is 30 stitches for 4 inches, which is, that's real dense, because I'm knitting, I did decide to make the Maggie cardigan by Petiteknit with it, and I've actually, this is the one I've already cast on. I cast it on because I have a colorwork sweater on the needles right now, and it's nice to have just a plain stockinette. It will be back and forth, but that doesn't bother me. So the Maggie cardigan by Petiteknit, I'll show a picture, is kind of a half-length cardigan. The sleeves are about half-length, about elbow-length cardigan. And if I make a size 3, which is a small, everything about Petiteknit confuses me. So usually a size 3 is a medium. But I will say I've only knit one adult garment in Petiteknit. It was the cloud sweater, and it was wildly oversized, like wildly oversized. And so I decided to go down a size, and also I went down a size so that I can be sure to have enough yarn for it. So I'm not quite done with the first ball. I've done my sleeve increases, and I still have, I think, 11 more raglan and sleeve increases, and then I'll split for sleeves. So it will be I think, plenty of yarn, but because it's looking it, and I think it'll be plenty big enough. It's looking big. I think that even though she has a lot of criticism for being not, or I don't think she does anymore. I think in the early days she had a lot of criticism for not being size inclusive. I think she's corrected that, but I also think her aesthetic is so oversized. So and this cardigan to me looks like it should be a little more tailored. I don't necessarily want it oversized, but anyway, I'm pretty excited. I will show you the buttons that I have for it. I bought those in Edinburgh, actually. All right, moving on. So this is at McCulloch and Wallace. The other yarn I bought at McCulloch and Wallace was, okay, so here's where my resolve to only buy British wool starts to falter. So in the US, there's certainly some European and British brands that we can buy easily, Jamieson's and Smith and that kind of thing. But a lot of the European brands are actually kind of hard to find, or at least hard to find without a big tariff and shipping cost. And I'd heard a lot of people talk about the Gepard wool before, or Gepard yarns, and it is beautiful. It is beautiful. I don't know. I'm hoping that this will track. How close can I get it? It's got just the slightest little gray tones in it, which makes me think it's a darker sheep, that it's a gray sheep and it's overdyed on that. I'm not sure. It is 40% wild Tusa silk. I don't know what that is. And 60% merino. It's very, very soft. And so in my mind, I was going to make a summer knit with this. But I will say this summer I've already knit a Lusk tee by Rebecca Clow in a pink yarn. And so I'm probably going to put this yarn on the back burner until probably next season. We'll see. We'll see. If something, if the fancy strikes. So I would like to reserve the right to change my mind on any of these patterns that I'm planning for this yarn or when I knit them. I think I'm going to make, I think it's called the Fiorellino. Oh no, I left my notes downstairs accidentally. I think it's called the Fiorellino tee by Isabel Kraemer, but I will clarify that. I've never knit anything by Isabel Kraemer, and I feel like I'd really like to give hers a try. It's a t-shirt, and it can be knit with long sleeves. I don't have enough for long sleeves. I believe I have, oh, hang on. This is my cute little Alice in Wonderland tote bag. Yeah, 4 balls of this. So I have, how many yards? Oh, it's only in meters. 240 meters in 50 grams. So this is really quite lofty and fluffy. The other one is super dense. but definitely enough for a tea. And then also at McCulloch and Wallace. Okay. I had to stop and go get them. I left my buttons, and as long as I was stopping, I decided to grab my notes too for my patterns. So yeah, to be clear, the pattern by Isabel Kraemer is called the Fiorellino, and it is so pretty. It is very pretty. Okay, but at Wallace and McCulloch, I also purchased 3 sets of buttons. I purchased 6 of these. They're metallic gold. They've got just a little texture on them. And I also purchased 10 of these little navy blue. They're kind of chunky. They have a bit of a rim around them. One of these buttons is going to be used for a navy blue cardigan that I'm going to make by the Knit Pearl Girl, but I'm not sure which one yet. So these were pretty pricey, so I only bought 6 of these. That's all I'll need. But excuse me, that will give me some options. I can see which one I like most. Okay, and then also I purchased 10 of these cutie little pearl buttons. I think that I want to use them for, it's a pattern that's still in testing. I applied to test knit it. I wasn't selected. That is one thing. I do think that now I'm in a size that's so common that those testers fill up fast. So, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to make it when it's ready. It's called the Isabel top by the Knit Pearl Girl. And I have some yarn that I purchased on this trip for that too. So I'll come back around to that. So that's what I got at McCulloch and Wallace. The Skipper, the Wild and Soft Gepard yarn, and 3 sets of buttons. The buttons are just so cute. I love them. And then I will show you the other buttons that I have for the Maggie cardigan when we get to Scotland, which here we go. We're on our way to Scotland now. So then we traveled to Edinburgh, and actually the first the buttons were at the first shop that I stopped at in Edinburgh, which was the Fibre Yard. And apparently this is the newest shop in Edinburgh, but I think it's been around for at least a year or more. And I had a really great I was the only one in the shop at the time, had a really great conversation with Anna. I don't know if she's the owner or just somebody that was working there, but so nice. And it was a very, very aesthetic, cute shop, and I just loved it so much. And so I guess I'll start with the buttons. So I bought, I think 6 of these cute little yellow buttons, and I actually didn't have in mind that they were going to go with the Skipper yarn. I love this color. You'll definitely see a bit of a theme happening with my color choices. Okay, it's upside down. It doesn't matter. But actually, I just think that it's almost a perfect match. And it'll just be a nice little monochromatic moment. And you're going to see a theme of the colors that I selected on this trip. I don't know if my brain is already thinking about autumn. I don't know if these are truly the colors that I'm just so drawn to. But you're going to see, I'll put a picture up with kind of all of the yarns next to each other. And there's definitely a theme here. So, okay. But when I was in the Fibre Yarn, it was like love at first sight. I looked across the room. This yarn looked back at me, and I found, I think, my favorite yarn from the trip. And it's not a British wool. I feel so bad. I mean, this was not intended, but when you know, and I knew I had to have that yarn. Here it is. Okay. I also got this nice, cute little tote bag from the Fibre Yard. Isn't that cute? And, oh, I guess you can't see it because of the handles. Let me try that again. Cute little tote bag. And I brought shopping bags with me the whole trip, and I ended up buying so many tote bags, so didn't need them. Okay, from across the room, she looked at me. It is so beautiful. It is the Tinde by Hillesvag. I think it's Hillesvag. There's another E in there. So Anyway, it is so beautiful. It's 100% Norwegian wool, and it just has a depth to it. And this one, she did explain to me, is dyed on gray wool. So that's why it has this like depth. And and I do think it's tracking pretty well on camera, but it's not just really monochromatic. It's very nuanced and has like a texture to the color, if that makes sense. I know it doesn't, but it makes sense to me. Anyway, I love this so much. And I think, but I keep changing my mind about which sweater I want to make with this. But right now, I'm inclined to make The Coffee Date by Samantha Guerin. And it's an all over texture. Again, it's not cabled. I don't think, maybe regrets here, but I don't think I bought enough yarn in any of the yarns to do a cabled sweater. I had thought seriously about using the skipper, the yellow skipper for, oh gosh, I can't remember what it is, but it's a really cute, it's kind of cropped. Like it doesn't have to be that much yarn, but I still don't think I have enough for the cables, for this little cabled cropped cardigan that I was looking at. I'll put a picture up. But I think the Maggie cardigan is a good choice for it anyway. So anyway, the Tinde, gorgeous. I love her so much. And the colorway is called Gräsgrön, which I believe means green grass or grass green, green grass. And it's just such a beautiful green. So that's what I purchased at the fiber yard, the yellow buttons and this yarn. And then I went to Be Inspired Fibers, which if you've been watching any podcasts about yarn shops in Edinburgh, you will know Be Inspired Fibers. People talk about it a lot because it's kind of chaotic and it's also so wonderful. It is wonderfully chaotic. I love it. And I think the owner that was there was so lovely and helpful and really helped me figure out what I wanted to get at Be Inspired Fibers. So I will say this was the shop, and I had done some research about these shops going into it, and I knew that they carried a lot of commercial European brands, and that's what I was looking for at that yarn shop. I wasn't looking for Scottish or British wool at that shop in particular. And I went in and got exactly what I was thinking I was going to get, which is, oh yeah, and then this is the cute little bag that I picked up at Beautiful Knitters. So cute. They also give you a regular tote bag, which was really nice for free. This one I paid for because I thought it was so cute. And I love a drawstring bag. Your girl loves a bag. Okay, so at Beautiful Knitters, I bought 6 skeins of Isager Trio 2, which is 50% linen, 30% cotton, 20% lyocell. It is, the colorway is called Sage, and in my opinion, it is a more silvery gray and not, really doesn't track green, but I do think that the green tones probably warm it up. And then my thought was this would be I don't know if you can even see that, but this would be the yarn that I would make the Isabel top with these cute little buttons. It's just so shiny. Oh no. Oh no, I dropped one. Please hold. Okay. Sorry about that. And then the other thing I knew I wanted to get at that shop, if it was available, was Isager Mohair. Everybody raves about their Mohair, saying it's the softest they've ever had. Now, I haven't knit with a lot of Mohairs before. My cloud sweater has Sandnesgarn Mohair, which I got on Facebook Marketplace, and I still have enough for another sweater. And it's fine. It was a little itchy, and but it softened up nicely. I soaked it in conditioner on somebody's recommendation, and that did improve it a lot. And then I've knit with Malabrigo Mohair actually, and I have that shawl that I'm going to do with Cascade Mohair. So I'm kind of experimenting, but everyone loves the Isager, so I thought I'm going to treat myself to some of that. I also am interested in the Fiorellino Mohair, but again, that's a hard one to get in the US too, but I had to choose. So I chose the Isager. And then with that, we looked at different yarns to pair it with, and the trio that is probably designed to be held with it, I didn't really want cotton, linen, mohair, and silk. That just felt like, I don't know, it didn't really make sense to me. To me, mohair reads fuzzy and warm and cozy, and cotton and linen is like a summer garment. So I didn't want to pair it with the trio. So we found the Knitting for Olive Merino. We can get Knitting for Olive in the States, obviously. Was probably not necessary, but I wanted to make sure I had a good match. And I do feel like the Isager is going to brighten up the Knitting for Olive just a little bit. But yeah, super pretty. And right now, tentatively speaking, I'm thinking about knitting the Field Sweater by Camilla Camilla Vod with this. It's an all over, no, sorry, it's a textured yoke. It is a circular yoke, which I usually stay away from, but it does seem like it has some raglan shaping too, which helps. I just don't think circular yokes are flattering on me and, bustier people without going really oversized, which I'm not really interested in doing because I've been on a weight loss journey and I don't want to wear really oversized clothes anymore. And then also it's just not as flattering, in my opinion, for me. I'm a short girl, but I'm still pretty busty. So anyway, I'm thinking that that's what I'm going to do with this yarn. And if not, I'll punt and do something more, maybe more simple, like some kind of a, I was going to say like maybe the Monday sweater or something, but I have other yarn planned for the Monday sweater. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, these are the 3 things that I got at Be Inspired Fibers. Honestly, it was a trip. That store was awesome. If I had all day to dig through that, I would. But you do have to kind of have to know what you're wanting, because it's not a browsing store. It's a finding store. And when you know what you're wanting, she'll go get it. She'll check her inventory. She'll let you know what colorway she has. I'd originally been thinking about going with a more neutral mohair. But I have a Surrey alpaca that I got in San Francisco that's white. And I was just like, I don't want all neutral mohairs. It's boring. And both of my mohair knits are pretty neutral. One's more gray and one's more beige, but I don't know. So we went for some color this time. And then the final the final stop on the trip the final yarn store stop on the trip was, wait for it, obviously, Ginger Twist, which is, I don't know, at least here, at least what the algorithm feeds me, what Rebecca Clow has talked about on her podcast, what other Instagram people have talked about. I've seen more about Ginger Twist than most other stores in Edinburgh. And yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to check it out. And again, on the recommendation by Rebecca in one of her podcast episodes, she really talks about the Kinross 4-ply. And so I kind of knew this is what I wanted to do, but I thought, well, I'm going to go look around. And if I were going back, I might get some of their hand-dyed yarns. Actually, she has a really cute fluffy yarn. I don't think it's mohair. I think it might have been Surrey, but she does some really fun, vibrant colors, and I kind of regret not getting that. But I knew what I wanted going into this, and it would have taken a lot to persuade me not to get this at Ginger Twist. And it's because I want this is going to be I keep saying my Roman Empire knit of the year, but it's probably a white whale knit would be the better way to describe it. I would like to do a Fair Isle colorwork cardigan by Kate Davies called the Powdermill, and it's a steeked cardigan. I am steeking the Pomona sweater. The sweater I'm knitting now, the Pomona, is going to have steeked armholes, so that's going to be my practice run at steeking. This is going to be an all over. The whole thing is going to be steeked for a cardigan. I am actually going to modify it. It has a bunch of little buttons on it, but I want a zipper cardigan, so I'm going to do another zipper cardigan just to practice putting in a zipper. So I have 2 sweaters that are helping me build skills to build up to my white whale / Roman Empire knit. So here's the colors that I chose for that. So that pattern calls for, in my size, which I believe was going to be a size 3, 3 skeins of your main color, which I'm using the neutral. They call it porridge. All of the yarn names have Scottish. They're Scottish names or Scottish connotations. So porridge is the main color for that. And then the first contrasting color also requires 3 skeins. And as much as it looks like orange and yellow are my favorite colors ever, green is actually my favorite color. So I'm going to do my most prolific contrast color will be the green, which is called seaweed. And then back to my love affair with oranges. Now the other 3 colors are 2 skeins each. So Highland Cow is going to be my first smaller contrast amount. And then this one I don't know how to pronounce, and I feel bad. I keep meaning to look it up and I keep forgetting, but it's a really nice blue. I don't know. So nice. Like, I just think that I'll show you all of them together in just a second. And then finally, my last contrast is in the shade Otter, which is just a really nice brown. So I try not to be, I feel like the Kate Davies sample that she knit is pretty bright. I wanted a lot of color, but I wanted to tone it down a little. So I went with a little bit more neutral of a palette. I feel really good about it. But here's what they all look like together. Okay, so we've got all of this, and then it's going to look like that all together. So really, really pretty colors. I think that is probably going to be like my holiday knit, or, you know, my, I teach at Midwives College of Utah, and we have a longer break in the winter. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do during that longer break. So, and like I said, I'm building some skills. I've been knitting for a long time. I've been knitting relatively consistently for 25 years. So maybe 24 years, 25 years. So definitely 25 or 26. Why am I having this conversation with myself? I don't know. Anyway, I've been knitting really consistently for 25 years. There's definitely been periods of ebbs and flows. But it's only in the past couple of years that I've really been, I don't know, tackling more complicated projects and knitting so almost obsessively, super consistently. Like I said, it's been my hobby for 25 years. It's been my personality for 2. So in the past 2 years, I've really been building up some skills. One thing about me is that I don't actually like to spend too much effort on my knitting, because knitting is how I unwind and how I relax and how I just kind of decompress and put the stressors of the day behind me. So it's not like I want to become the most advanced technical knitter ever, but I do really, I really love Fair Isle knitting. And, you know, I kind of joke, you know, it's to some degree, it might be a little bit of my heritage. I don't know, in my DNA somehow. So I really do want to tackle that project, but I do want to build some skills and make sure that I am capable and confident. And in the meantime, I'll get 2 other cute sweaters out of it. So I'm doing the Pomona sweaters, that strawberry sweater that I'm working on. And I've got a couple rows of strawberries done now. So that's going to be, you know, again, working on my tension, working on my dominant color work, or color dominance in color work. And then my first practice steeking. And then I cannot remember the name of the zip up cardigan I'm going to make, but I'm going to make it out of some of the Cascade Venezia that I bought on Facebook Marketplace. I'll put the picture up here. But that's how I'm going to practice putting in a zipper. And I love a zipper cardigan. So I work in a birth center most of the time, and it is cold. It's either cold because it's winter, or it's cold because the air conditioning is too cold. So a cardigan, and especially a zip up cardigan, is so nice when I'm working. So, and that's why I think the Maggie cardigan will be really great for summer. clinic days. It's too nice to wear to a birth, but like too dressy looking to wear to a birth, but it will be a really nice clinic day knit. So, and I'm almost done with the yoke. Excuse me. I'm almost done with the yoke, so it's actually moving along faster than the pomona, but that's okay. I really like to have more than one thing on the needle so that I have something I can think about, something I don't have to think about. But when I do tackle the Powdermill, I am going to need to think about it. So I really want to wait until I have time to work on it and just dedicate, really have dedicated knitting time to work on that. So anyway, that is my haul. That is what I got in the UK. Again, I am a garment knitter, so I didn't want to walk away with like one skein here and one skein there and like have to figure out what to do with it. I do knit a ton of Musselburgh hats and then also like socks and stuff like that. But I have so much stash yarn in 1 and 2 skein quantities that it would be irresponsible to purchase like little bits and pieces here and there for me personally, not irresponsible for other people, just for me, because I already have so much stash yarn. But what I don't have is a lot of sweater quantity yarn and stash other than like things I could make with stripes or, but not like full garment length. So I guess you could argue that I probably could have done the Powdermill in scrap yarn, but I didn't want to. I wanted to do it in Scottish yarn. So that's what I decided to do. And yeah. So anyway, thanks for joining me on this journey. I think next week I'll be back with the regular format. You'll notice I changed my filming location. I was struggling with my office space is in a basement, in our basement. It's a ranch type basement. So it has windows, but not big windows. It has a fireplace. Like it's super cozy and it's where all my knitting stuff is. And I love to hang out there, but it wasn't the best for filming. So I decided to relocate upstairs for filming. And then I'm probably going to, I'm going to finesse some different things about video editing because it needs to take me less time. That first one took way too much time and I need this to be a little more straightforward. So I'm going to play with this episode and try to get that a little streamlined and then, but still hopefully be able to do a video every week. That's my hope. So I'm planning on a regular content video next week and I look forward to showing you what's on my needles and you'll get to see where the Maggie cardigan is. Actually, it might not be that far along because I might film it not too far down the there's a delay between filming and editing and publishing. But anyway, I'm looking forward to showing you where I'm at later. So please follow me on Instagram at Midwife Gina. And if you would like and subscribe, I would appreciate it because it will keep me motivated to figure out these bugs and keep going. So thanks so much. I appreciate you watching and happy knitting.